Gustafson, who is the assistant director of the college. He has actually been here for 25 years. He's been in honors a really long time. So he is an alum of the university, as is Miss Woody. And then we also have Kelsey Kane, who is the program coordinator here in the college. She works a lot of our student programming, leadership programs, and she will be advancing the slides. And if you have questions during this webinar, please feel free to put them in the chat. I think Mr. Hanson will be answering them. And then we also can answer questions after I'm finished. So a little bit about honors. I hope that you are, wherever you're looking at going to school, I hope you're looking at an honors college or program. There are about 1,500 of them in the nation. So roughly 40 to 50% of universities and colleges have an honors program or college. I think that an honors college at a public university is one of the best educational values today, but best values in higher education. And I'll try to highlight some of the things that I think make honors education in general such a good value and such a great educational journey, but also some of the things that are distinctive to this honors college, where we're located, what we do, who our faculty are. So please go ahead to the next slide, Ms. Kane. So just a little bit on this slide, very quickly, that I think three things that are really important in this slide is that we emphasize in the Honors College at NAU problem-solving abilities. Our classes tend to be less about just about content. They're also about problem-solving, figuring out connections between things, and making proposals. And so they're very creative in that way. We also focus a great deal on communication skills, both written and oral communication skills. Most honors courses, they run as seminars. So you're constantly interacting with other people, with the faculty member, also with other students. And we also have a lot of emphasis on public presentation in those courses, and also on writing. We are a writing intensive kind of curriculum. So these are the kinds of skills that will work with any major. We have students from all different majors in the college, with about 1,400 students. And all of our students, we kind of are the value added component on their degree, whether they're in chemistry, philosophy, English, history, nursing. And the things that we add are these problem-solving abilities, heightened communication skills, and then the last of these things, a personalized program of study. I'll talk a little bit about our capstone later, but like most honors colleges and programs, we have as a centerpiece of our degree plan is doing individualized research, creative activity, some sort of activity that will help you advance your personal, professional, or academic goals. So please go to the next slide.
Sorry, for some reason, it's not allowing me. Okay.
There it is. So I've been talking about things that are kind of common to many honors college programs. This is something that's really distinctive, and it's about us. And Flagstaff is located 75 miles south of the south rim of the Grand Canyon. This is from one of our many courses, programs, in which we take students to write, photograph, paint, Grand Canyon, or study geology, all sorts of different kinds of courses. We very much emphasize site-based education. So I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. A couple of the details on this slide I want you to know. This is kind of our factoid slide. That the average class size is 18. That would be smaller than any high school class I had back in the day. And again, our classes are designed to focus on interaction rather than on lecture and sort of regurgitation of material in a rote way. Um, Other thing is 3 out of 4 honor students participate in some kind of study abroad program. Honors runs many study abroad programs. We had 3 this year, 1 to Ecuador, 1 to Italy, 1 to Vietnam. We've had programs in the south of France. Um, so we're very, we also send students and provide scholarship money for students to do long-term study abroad programs, semester-long, year-long programs in roughly 70 different countries and 700 different locations. So we take study abroad very seriously. We also have the Office of National International Scholarships and Fellowships in honors. That that office works with students, both undergraduates and graduate students, honors and non-honors students. But we, in the Honors College, we really promote those kinds of scholarships, which are really life-changing. And NAU has a very good track record with those scholarships. For example, we have 3 Udall scholars this year. We have the most of any school in the nation, actually. We're very proud of that. We routinely have Fulbrights, Goldwaters, Cobell. We had a Rhodes finalist last year. There are very few of them. And so we really help students develop the kind of profile and develop the writing skills and interviewing skills that will help them succeed in these kinds of prestigious awards. Please advance. Great. So I think the core of honors education, I would say, is the seminar experience. Our seminars are topics based. So some other colleges and programs might have a great books curriculum where you start with Plato and Aristotle and work your way forward. Most of our courses are actually on topics, and I'll give you a few examples of those in a minute. But the seminar experience is designed to encourage, foster close interaction with faculty. This will be really important to you as you look at next steps beyond your 4-year degree. If you're looking at graduate school, you're looking at professional school, you're looking at the job market, you will have faculty members who know your name, who know you well because you've been in small classes with them. We also offer a lot of unique opportunities, academic opportunities. I've talked about ones going to the canyon. I've talked about opportunities that turn on study abroad, but we also have a heightened emphasis on undergraduate research and creative activity. We have funds within the college that help support students to do really innovative passion projects. And I would say that we kind of specialize in those passion projects. We want students to use their honors education to really add on to complement what they're doing in their major and build something that is unique to them and meaningful to them. The final thing about our classes is, because it's a frequent question, almost all of our classes fulfill general education requirements. So these are the courses, the kinds of courses you take no matter what your major is. It's part of what higher education means when it talks about creating well-rounded students and citizens. So our courses, these small seminars, generally fit into a general education program. And what that means is that there's a great deal of efficiency within the system. You will take about a quarter of your classes, between a fifth and a quarter of your classes will be honors classes, but almost all of those credits will be doing double duty. They will be serving to fulfill another requirement as well. So you can do a double major and still do honors. You can change your major and still do honors. And one of the things I would say that we are very good at in this college, people like Mr. Hanson, Ms. Kane, and I, we're really good at helping students problem solve their schedules when they change their major in their sophomore year, say, and they can still have the opportunity to pursue the new major and to do honors. We want you to complete both. So our classes, our curriculum helps with that because it is so efficient. Please advance. So this is what our curriculum looks like more as a roadmap. So an honors degree has 27 hours at NAU. Again, that's about industry standard, between 20-25% of a 120 degree typical undergraduate degree credit count. 9 of those classes, Honors 190, that's our first semester writing critical thinking seminar. It's a hard requirement in this college. And then 29X, 39X, those are those special topics seminars. Students typically take their 290 in their second or third semester. They typically take 390 in their fourth or fifth semester. So those are 9 of the 27 hours. 7 more of those hours are a 1-credit capstone design course, in which you design a 6-credit project that you pursue usually in the second half of your junior year and your senior year. And those capstones, sometimes they are in your major. For some students, they're in their major. They may involve undergraduate research. Some students do one built on study abroad or community service. Some students do something completely outside their major. There's something they want to do. They are performing artists. They are visual artists. That's not their major, but that's something they really want to pursue and achieve a certain level of excellence in while they're an undergraduate. We are very, very flexible about what the capstone is because we want it to be a signature assignment for you as an individual student. So quick math, 9 hours of seminars, 7 hours of capstone, leaves 11 more hours. There are a lot of ways to meet those. Some of our students take 1 and 2 credit classes we have here in the college. Honors 100, which is run by Mr. Hansen, is a 1-credit class. Students will also do honors designated classes that are taught in departments. So pre-calculus honors, calculus honors, philosophy honors. Different departments across campus will offer small honors designated sections of standard general education courses. So there are lots of ways to earn those hours. As you get to be a junior and senior, you can also contract hours. You take a 300, 400 level class in your major. You do an extra component, value added component to it that turns it into an honors class. So there are lots of ways to earn these credits. There are a couple other requirements, a few other ones down here at the bottom. We ask that you achieve a level of pre-calculus or higher in math. If you've taken pre-calculus at a community college or through dual credit, you've met the requirement. Or you can take it here. There are options for doing that. We also ask for a 1-year proficiency in a second language. Again, if you've taken Spanish 102, 101, 102, French 101, 102 through dual enrollment or through a community college, you have met the requirement. You can also meet that requirement while you're here, including through immersive study abroad programs. So one of my favorite ones is one in Italy called Language in Linguini, and you spend several weeks in Italy and you gain credit for Italian 101, 102 while you are probably eating a lot of very, very good food. So there are lots of ways to meet those requirements. And then finally, we ask that you maintain a 3.3 cumulative GPA. That's not 3.3 in your honors classes, that's 3.3 overall. And we have a fairly generous policy for if you dip below that to give you time to get your grades up. Sometimes students take a little bit of time to adjust to being in college. So sometimes their first semester might be a little bit rocky. We recognize that. We look for the trajectory that you develop and give you time and give you advice on how to work to get your GPA back up to the 3.3 if it dips below. Please advance. So this is I mentioned the capstone before. these are some students discussing their capstones. We thought it's a good way to give you a sense of the range and variety of kinds of projects people do in this college.
I'm pursuing my own undergraduate research project.
I created an empirically supported vegan cookbook.
I've been interning at a small interior design firm called We3 Design.
Course 408 is a supervised pass-fail class that is based solely off the student's field work experience.
I will be interning in the Washington State Legislative Internship Program. Each student gets to individually plan what they want to do for their capstone based on either interests that they didn't have time to study, research they want to carry out, or a way to reach their future goals.
I was really encouraged by the level of freedom and ability to tailor the project to something that was personally relevant and meaningful to me.
I'm pursuing my own undergraduate research project, where I'm researching the difference in personality traits and stress levels among honors and non-honors students at NAU. So I'm doing this through an online survey and a personality test that I send out to undergraduate students. I kind of arrived at this idea through being a research assistant in the College of Education in the field of educational psychology.
Just this week, I put together 2 renderings of a kitchen in order to show a client their options for a new island. In order to create these models, I have learned to read material specification sheets, analyze floor plans, and have become very familiar with SketchUp.
During my honors 408 experience, I shadowed at Woodlands Village Dentistry under Dr. Elliot Markich. Through this, I achieved much more than completing a requirement on my dental school application. My honors capstone experience was important towards my professional development and gave me plentiful knowledge within the world of dentistry.
So I'm thankful that I can count this as my honors capstone and that there's so much flexibility in the honors capstone that I get to do this awesome undergraduate research project as my culminating experience at NAU.
I couldn't be happier with the unconventional direction I kind of went, and I'm really excited that I was able to make it meaningful for me and not be stuck in kind of a formulaic, generic kind of project.
And the honors capstone project I got to do is ultimately one thing that made me really happy I chose to be part of the Honors College.
Great. Oh, that always happens. So yeah, about these honors capstones, I know that 3 of the students who were in that video, what they're doing, one of them, the one who did the shadowing, the dental shadowing, he is
I'm pursuing my own undergraduate research
in Oregon right now. The woman right there on the screen who is in education, she was a Fulbright in Spain, in the Canary Islands, and she is now, she has stayed there and making a life there. She's teaching English in the Canary Islands. And then the third one, who was in the Washington State Legislative Program, she is in law school in the Bay Area right now. So many of these students, that what they're doing in their capstones really relates directly to where they're going with their lives, either professionally or in the case of Ms. Gish here, I think it really changed what her life trajectory was, that she did this educational research. She got the Fulbright and now she's living in Spain. Next slide, if you can get there. Good. So I've talked a little bit about learning outside the classroom already, and another river picture, I think from the same photography trip, quite likely. And I just want to emphasize how many undergraduate research opportunities we have at NAU. And part of what defines the honors experience at a university is the context in which it occurs. And NAU as a university has just become an R1 research intensive university. There's a lot of research going on here, but it's also primarily still an undergraduate institution. The proportion of graduate students to undergraduates, it's about 1 to 6. So what that means is you have a lot of faculty who are looking for people to work in their research labs and to help them with research, but they're drawing on undergraduates quite often for that work rather than graduate programs, which might be true of a much larger school. And what that does for honor students is it means that you are going to have lots of opportunities to work directly with faculty, either in groups on projects or one-on-one with faculty members. So it's a real tailwind for honors education, and it's something that we really strive to have good working relationships with different units on campus so that you have the opportunity to have a real research experience if you're in nursing, if you're in education, or if you're in biology or astronomy, whatever your field is. We will try to match you up with someone you can do that kind of work with. It's a great educational experience. The last thing on this list is Grand Canyon semester, and I think this is the second video I have for you, which is on the next panel, is a little bit about that program. This is what NAU Honors is most known for nationally, a program we run every other year. It is a multidisciplinary look at Grand Canyon. It's running this fall. If you apply to start at NAU this coming fall, you would be able to do it during your junior year. So please take a look at the video.
Grand Canyon semester experience is empowering.
It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It was life-changing.
The Grand Canyon is super rad. Being just in this place, it's almost magical.
The Grand Canyon semester completely transformed my life in such a positive way.
It's also an opportunity for us to test our intellect, to become curious, to find passion in things, whether it's the geology or the cultural history or really the current politics and how this place is playing out in the landscape of our human culture.
The canyon and the land is the teacher. The faculty are just facilitators to the learning. This landscape has a lot to teach people, and so we try to work with the landscape as much as possible to bring out the lessons for the students. But the lessons are there, and the land is teaching. We're just helping.
Well, we begin with really creating an awareness that the Grand Canyon itself is not just a geological landscape, it's not just a biological landscape, but it's a really important cultural landscape.
We focus on trying to understand why the landscapes around here look the way they do from a social and an ecological and a political perspective.
I would highly recommend the Grand Canyon semester to any major, from the arts to the sciences to the humanities.
It has something that everyone can take home.
It's just an experience that can feed any mindset.
The Grand Canyon semester program is just an amazing experience.
These kinds of experiences, there's no replacement for them. There's nothing like them.
I love Grand Canyon semester.
I love Grand Canyon semester.
I love Grand Canyon semester.
So that's Ted Martinez. He runs that program. And like I said, it'll be going this fall, and then again in 2026. And 2028 will actually mark the 50th anniversary of when it was first offered. It is the oldest such program in honors education in the country. So we're very proud of it. Please move to the next slide. So another aspect of honors, and one that we have worked a lot on in the past few years, is kind of large-scale programming. And I would say the Honors College is a hub for interdisciplinary presentations, panels on issues of current public interest. So we had this past semester, we had our third iteration of our speaker series, which recently has been named. So we bring 3 fairly high-profile speakers, or sometimes a panel of speakers in each spring. We have a film festival in the fall. We have our own honors symposium where students from first year up through seniors, students who are about to graduate, present research or creative activity. We work with the University Undergraduate Symposium in the spring, which is an enormous event. We also have a lot of academic professional networking panels. We bring in doctors, nurses, business leaders, people from all different kinds of professions to talk about their journeys, what they recommend for beginning your own journey in that profession. The third item on this list, you see the word explorations, and this is a really important word in the college. So this is actually a co-curricular requirement for the college. Is we require you to do 5 of these during your time at NAU, 5 over 4 years. And we ask you to go to one of these kinds of events and then write some fairly brief reflective essays on how what you saw, what you learned has affected your understanding of yourself, of your educational trajectory. This is something we believe in very strongly, that we want students in honors to become lifelong learners, that learning occurs outside of a lecture hall. It occurs outside of a 3-credit undergraduate class. And throughout your life, it will occur in all sorts of ways. We want you to be curious, inquisitive. We want you to seek things out, especially things that are maybe outside of your particular set of interests. So we create a wide range of different kinds of activities, events for students to do through explorations. And we think it's a great part of being in this college. Please go ahead. So a little bit about the building. So this building, and Ms. Kane, Mr. Hanson, and I, all 3 of us are in their building right now. It was built in 2018. It opened in August, so it is just going to be 6 years old. It is on the largest of the pictures on the screen right now, on the top right. It is the building on the right-hand side of that. It has both an academic side and a campus living community in it. About 660 students live in the building. Mostly first-year students live in the building, but we have some returning students as well. And then we have 8 classrooms. We have faculty offices, administrative offices, the writing center, the national and national scholarships and fellowships, honors advising, capstone coordinator. All these people are housed in this building. And the great advantage of it is one place where you can get all of your resources are for honors. The other great thing about the living community side of it is you have students from all different disciplines who are living together. If you have a roommate, you might be an English major, your roommate might be a physicist or business and French. And that kind of energy of having people who are smart, who are ambitious, who might be smart and ambitious in ways that are different from you, I think that's incredibly healthy. It is a great energy that we have in this college. So please move ahead to the next one. So this is a diagram of the 3 different kinds of rooms. So the room on the left is a very traditional double room. You see there's one entrance at the top left, and there are 2 beds, 2 workstations. But what's unusual, and it's unusual for first-year campus communities here at NAU, and also from my experience, is that each room has its own bathroom in it. So you see the 2 sinks, you see the commode, you see the shower tub. So each room has its own bathroom. You don't have to go down the hall to brush your teeth or to use the restroom or take a shower. The room on the right on this diagram is the singles configuration. There are fewer of these in the building. You can see there are 2 separate entrances on the bottom left and the bottom right. There is one dead one bed and one workstation in each room, and then there's a shared bathroom between them. There are also a number of triple rooms in the building. They are modeled on the doubles, and they have 3 people. There are bunk beds in one part of the room, and those rooms are considerably less in cost. And so those are not, we do not have a diagram for those, but there are also about 50 triples in the building. So that's how we have 660 students living in the building. So please move on. So this is the last video, I promise. And this is a video that shows the building and different parts of it, including right here is the courtyard with the grill, which we do use. So please go ahead. So we're very proud of the building. It is the newest living community on campus. I would say it's a fitting complement to what I think is a great academic program that's going on this side of the building. So I really think it's a great package overall. So moving on to the next slide. One of the things maybe you have a sense so far from what I've been saying is that there are a lot of opportunities in this college, and we are very welcoming to students, all different backgrounds, and also that we push students a bit. We're going to ask a bit more of you than you would necessarily need to do to earn an undergraduate degree at NAU. But we also provide a great deal of support. And I think that the amount of support that we offer is in measure with what we demand of students. Our faculty and staff, we have 11 faculty actually in the college, an endowed professorship in engineering, and then we have a number of full-time faculty here. I teach classes as well. Mr. Hansen teaches classes occasionally. They are from all different disciplines. Arts, social sciences, science. And so you will have faculty here who are really great connecting you to different disciplines throughout the university. There are also faculty who are really, really committed to the undergraduate student experience. They are superb teachers. That is what they have committed their academic life to do, is to work with ambitious, high-achieving students like you. Advising in the college excuse me, there's both informal advising by many of us as staff. There is more formal advising from general advising, works with first-year students. And then as students move beyond their first year, they move to departmental advisors who will help them with their honors program. We also have a capstone coordinator who works specifically with all of the capstone students. And we also, people like Mr. Hansen, Ms. Kane, and I, we work with students on an as-needed basis to help troubleshoot when there seem to be conflicts or challenges between the major and honors. We will make sure that you can finish your honors degree even as you finish your major degree. We have a writing center, very unusual for an honors college to have its own writing center. It has peer tutors. We have about 8 or 9 tutors each year, and they tutor on everything from first year, first semester papers, all the way up to graduate applications and applications for prestigious scholarships and fellowships or professional programs. We have a peer mentor program that in the past has been attached to Honors 190, that first semester course. But the peer mentors this year are going to be much more general, working with all students. And they are another form of support. Quite often, students will feel more comfortable going to other students with questions and advice than maybe going to someone like me or to Mr. Hansen or Ms. Kane. So we want students to feel they have a lot of different resources for information on how to make progress in honors and how to make honors really work for them. And then Honors 100, I've mentioned briefly, Mr. Hansen runs that program. It has peer facilitators. And Honors 100 is offered the first half of every fall only for first-year students. And it's really an introduction to NAU, to life, to honors, to NAU more generally, and also to life in Flagstaff. And so there's some interesting experiential learning kinds of projects students do that help students learn about this interesting little mountain town, college city that is Flagstaff. And then finally, we have a student group, and this was started by students. It is run by students. Honors Advocacy Council, which is essentially designed at heart to make sure that all students in the college feel they have a voice, feel that they are included, feel that they are welcomed. So it's a great resource, all the greater because it is something that has been designed by the students themselves. Move to, I think, one of the last slides. We're getting close to the end. So a little bit about the honors program fee. If you're looking at the 3 Arizona public universities, their honors colleges, all of them have a program fee. The honors fee at NAU is the lowest. We're at $720 a year, so $360 a semester. That is money that is used for all sorts of the programming that we offer, the speakers we bring in, the kind of travel we do. So make sure that you take advantage of all those great benefits of being in honors because your program fee is in part paying for them. We also have some support. So if you're applying for this fall, we have a fair number of scholarships that we've already given out. But if you are part of the Arizona Promise program, and you will know that as you apply and go through financial aid, we do have need-based financial aid from the university to help with that program fee. So don't let the fee be a barrier. Find out what we can do for you at NAU to help with that. Beyond that, we also have a lot of, if you start this fall, we have a lot of current student awards you'd be eligible for in your second year. And some of these are based on your major, some of them are based on other criteria, service, some are purely academic. We also have a lot of support for certain activities. We have a capstone grant program. We also have a lot of support for study abroad. One of the things that we do is we work to find donors, sources of income that will help with students do all sorts of wonderful things. So we work to have a lot of support for you in that way as well. And I think the final slide is a little bit about admissions. So we are still accepting applications for fall. And our application is online. You have to have a 3.0 high school core GPA for the application to become visible to you. We will work with a lot of the information that you've already supplied. If you are an admitted NAU student, you have to be admitted to NAU before you can apply to honors. We will draw a lot of that information. We also ask you to write 2 fairly painless, brief online essays and to submit a resume, which can be in a standard date form, it can be a narrative, it can be any format. We want to know who you are. And through the essays, we want to know a little bit about how you think, how you problem solve, and also get a sense of your creativity. So the essay prompts are interesting. I won't talk about them, but they're designed to give us a sense of who you are. We typically take about 3 weeks to process an application. We will likely move more quickly now, and now that we're in summer, because we know that you want a decision soon. I think those are the main points, and I realize I went over my time, but I'd be happy to take any questions, or maybe there are questions already in the chat.
I don't see any in the Q&A area or the chat section yet.
If you don't have any questions, I'd be happy to let you go. And you've been here 45 minutes, so.
Kevin, you taught an honors class or 2 for us. What were the 2 classes that you taught?
So I've actually taught 4. I've actually taught 4 classes for honors, 5 classes if you count. I've been leading students on the Ecuador program for the past 3 years. That has a service component in it, and we work with a local school. It is a wonderful program. It's intended for students who have not been out of the country before. It is kind of a gateway study abroad program. I've taught Honors 190 a couple times, which is our critical thinking writing course. My PhD is in English literature, so I'm very comfortable teaching a writing class. I've also taught a course called Comics and Other Intermedia, which was a bit of a learning curve for me. That's about graphic novels and essentially the dialogue between pictures and words and how they interact and maybe sometimes work against one another. And recently I've taught a course, 2 courses. One is a course called Finding Place in Northern Arizona, in which I taught some creative nonfiction, and then I was team teaching it with a local painter, landscape painter. And so students were doing creative writing. They were also painting, and it was great to watch the students develop their painting. And then I've taught a couple courses in medieval studies here. That's my field. So I really enjoy being in the classroom. And so it's always a treat to do that. And Mr. Hansen, you have taught?
I've taught Honors 190 for 10 years. I then kind of moved into doing some of the more topics-based classes. I started with a class called Critical Communities. And that class looked at how we form and shape communities and what influences us as groups of people living together, as well as individuals striking out a life in a community. So we looked at a lot of things related to geography, economics, culture. It was a really kind of a fascinating class, looking at how people interact with each other in the public sphere. I taught a class called Sustainable Societies, looking at how societies and cultures and communities thrive, but maybe more importantly, why they don't succeed and what caused them to collapse ultimately. I taught a class called Sport and Society, where we looked at sports from a number of different levels, from youth to community to collegiate to professional to Olympic, and how those sports affect society, both as individuals in that society as well as collectively, just kind of the benefits that sport brings to societies as a whole. I taught a class called Deconstructing Disney, which is kind of the one that Dr. Gustafson likes to bring up in these presentations. We take a look at all things Disney, and my caveat at the beginning of the class is, if you're here to talk about how much you love Disney films, this is probably not the class for you, because we kind of peel back some of the layers of the Disney enterprise, and we look at how Disney has affected youth culture, education, development of young children, and how they interact with each other based on some of the messaging and the images that they see in these Disney films, and within the Disney enterprise, the Disney parks and that sort of thing. So we really kind of try and get at really just kind of an understanding of what Disney has become and how Disney has influenced us as a culture and as individuals in that culture. So we do a lot of critical thinking about what is it that we're seeing in this film, and what is it that we're seeing in Disney and Disney enterprises, and is it actually what it appears to be and what it seems to be? And many times it turns out that it is not exactly all that we thought that it was, and as wholesome as we think that it is. So I think that's all the classes that I've done.
And there are a lot of, I didn't mention all the other classes. We have a class on revolution. We have a class on Holocaust commemoration. We have a course on cancer. We have a course on Colorado River restoration, creative writing, poetry, Afrofuturism, healing arts. We have just an amazing array of courses. Our faculty are very creative. They love designing new courses, and so it's a great place to be. Well, I think if there aren't any questions, we will wrap up for the evening.